Welcome. We are live for our very first Multifamily Investor Nation Summit. Facebook Live. We're going to be promoting various speakers that are going to be speaking at the event. Today we have Rob Beardsley with us. Rob, thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Well, Rob, I want you to get us started. I know several people who are watching this have probably, been to the last summit. They might have heard you speak, and they're looking forward to you coming back and speaking again on some underwriting strategies. But I want you to get us started and tell us a little bit about you and your background in regards to this multifamily space.
Sure, sounds good. Well, I'm from the San Francisco Bay Area, and I grew up in a real estate household. My dad's a real estate broker, so kind of always knew I was going to go in that direction. And then a few years ago, my dad and I ventured out into the multifamily space because we were just looking for that solution to create consistent cash flow and grow our capital over time. And, through the course of exploring multifamily, I fell in love, started my own company with a new business partner, and still work with my dad. And, now that's what we're working on, just doing deals.
Well, that's exciting, and I know one of the reasons why we like to have you come on and speak about the underwriting side of things is because you have a lot of knowledge behind the underwriting strategies. And for those of you who might be new in the multifamily investing space, we talk about underwriting. You sometimes think of underwriting as like, your insurance person underwriting you or your bank or something like that. But, it's really analyzing the financials on a property and on an asset to see how the financials look and, can the actual, deal make sense from a financial perspective for whatever your goal and your game plan is for your group. So I know Rob has a good solid background in being able to kind of do those underwritings. He's helped our group in a couple of projects that we've done. So we like him a lot, and a lot of the stuff he's been able to help with. Tell us a little bit about what you're going to be speaking on. Because I know it's underwriting, and we have talked about analyzing deals and stuff like that. But are there any specific things that you kind of have in the back of your head that you kind of want to touch on whenever you're speaking?
Yeah. The last summit was really interesting for me. The panel of underwriters, I think we had a really good discussion, going back and forth, some disagreements. That was a fun one. I think there's always something new you could talk about. You can always cover the basics, but something that's on my mind for this summit is potentially talking about, back then we were more sure that rates were going up. And now I think there's less certainty and even maybe more of a flat rate environment. And I think that maybe will change how people are looking at deals. I think we're going to be heading into a more flat market for the next 5 years. So rather than underwriting deals where you're going to have this big value growth over your underwriting timeline, I think people have to look at deals differently. And then that leads you to look at your debt structure differently, specifically to your prepayment penalties. I think that's a really interesting topic that a lot of people are not looking at when they're underwriting a deal. They say, oh, I'll get the cheapest debt, which has the most expensive prepayment penalty, and then we'll underwrite to a 0% exit fee, which is just it's not realistic. So that's something that's interesting.
Why do you think that the rates did what they did? Because obviously, you and I both have done deals last year, and our rates are much higher than they were when they are right now on some of the projects we're currently working on. So what's the dynamic behind that?
I think towards the end of, Q3 of last year, GDP, the economy was firing on all cylinders. And so I think that's what led to more inflation fears. And the Fed was really keeping a close eye on inflation. And they saw all this growth. I mean, we had over 4% GDP growth. So they were thinking, well, inflation's got to come. And it really didn't. And especially as of late, we've been seeing, below expectation inflation readings. So I think that's what's really allowed the market to settle down and the Fed to really relax on their stance in terms of raising rates.
Well, I know the rates right now are just crazy low. I've seen some groups getting 3.8 and 3.9 on some of these larger projects and stuff, which is phenomenal. It's really good. So it's going to be interesting to kind of see how the next couple of months actually happen. And I know even 2 months from now, when we're going to have the event in June, things are going to probably change between the time we're doing this promo and the time you actually have that topic from that panel. And I know what we're trying to do is with some of these panels, try to bring in some of the same people on the panel so we can kind of say, all right, well, back in January, you talked about being this, this, and this, and now the way the current market is, how is it going to be moving forward, into the latter part of 2019? So I think those panels to me are some of my favorite ones because you get to kind of see what everybody's thinking as far as the market's concerned.
Right. And I don't think no one here is trying to make any predictions or invest based on predictions. It's how do you create a flexible enough business plan to maneuver around the current market conditions and allow for potential downside risks, or, what if inflation does come back, or, what if rates go down? Maybe you don't want to have fixed rate debt, or maybe you do. So it's all interesting things to take into consideration.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think it's important for somebody to attend an event like this?
I think obviously there's a ton to learn, especially if you're a beginner. This probably is the best event. You could sit right on your couch and learn so much information and get such a head start from where you were just prior to the event. And then even if you're intermediate or a professional, I think it's still a terrific event because of all the people that you can meet in such a quick, in such short order.
Well, I'm really looking forward to having you back at the event, and you actually have a promo code to be able to give out for people who are watching this and want to get $100 off their ticket. Do you remember your promo code?
Yeah, I believe it's Lone Star, no spaces.
Lone Star, LONESTAR, all one word. Type that in when you're going to the mfinsummit.com page. You can go there, check out all the other speakers. We're going to have over 60 speakers at this event again, may even have even more than that. So we're working on possibly even opening up a third room for some of our sponsors and stuff like that to be able to provide some information to the audience. So go to mfinsummit.com, put in the promo code Lone Star, get your $100 off. Look forward to seeing you again, Rob, at the event. And thank you so much for taking some time today to share a little bit of a few golden nuggets.
My pleasure. I'm looking forward to it.